The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. For too long, this quote has stood true. We, the good people in all our righteous might, watch on from the sidelines, letting ourselves become pawns of the men in the high tower. We submit, even praise their efforts to spend their money on activities such as conquering Mars, while we are left to rot here, still incapable of conquering the ever-growing costs of living. This, my friend, is the world we live in, ruled by corporations, liars, wolves in sheep's clothing, and above all else, greed. Over the centuries, the system has remained the same. The few find and exploit loopholes in society. Once at the top, they act, spreading out their influence like various tentacles. Always seeking more than others, they make sure that those others can never earn anything. They impose barriers on them, laws they call them, all to protect the little empire they have. But then, like all of us, they die, leaving behind a fractured society of weak and impoverished people. However, there is one more thing they leave: an heir, an inheritor, someone who can carry on their will and repeat the cycle. However, unlike those before, who worked for their power, the heir is weak. Blessed from birth, they have never done anything but demand and oppress. We saw this with the feudal lords of the past, the various monarchies who valued their luxury over the necessities the people should have. However, we, the lower class, rose and put an end to their terror. Now, we face a similar issue in the form of corporations that wish to dominate the market and turn us into their little workers. While we often do not see it in action, we are being controlled. We are turned into servants, bound no longer by chains of steel around our wrists, but rather chains of dopamine that entangle our minds. Every game ad we click on, every scroll on TikTok, every time we give in to their schemes and become addicted to the various forms of digital enslavement, we are actively fueling their war effort against other big companies in a foolish race to the top. But what point is there in a race to the top when the foundation that the race is built on, the people, collapses under the corporation's weight? The truth is right in front of us. All it takes is the motivation to do it. The government is no different. Nowadays, they fabricate lies to keep us away from finding out the truth. Even the very education system is used to prevent us from truly thinking about the broader picture, and instead focuses on things like grades. We are taught to memorize topics we do not even enjoy, instead of becoming creative thinkers who do what they are passionate about. Because the truth is, when you do what you love, you become unstoppable. And that's what they all despise: someone they cannot control. Additionally, they only focus on the short-term issues to keep us at bay, never the long-term like the corporations. They only care about what can get them the closest to the top now, and often it results in a collapsing foundation. Remember the 3 little pigs, how the first 2 built their houses the fastest, and with weak materials, just so they could create the illusion of a result, only for it to all come crashing down under the might of the wolf, and they end up getting eaten. Meanwhile, the 3rd pig focused on the long term and built his to be sturdy with bricks. That way, the result was no illusion, but a reality that proved effective and saved his life. Look at this: immigration in Europe. For many, the only solution is to ship people away and let others deal with it. Quick, easy, gets the job done instantly, and means they don't have to fix it. However, this only brews resentment and hate, both by the people being shipped and the ones to whom they are shipped to. An actual solution would be to take it upon ourselves to tackle the root issue. It is no surprise that the colonial pasts of many European nations is a major cause of conflict. And now, history returns with a vengeance. For them to solve these issues would not just aid themselves, but others as well. Seems pretty good, no? Most people would disagree. They would say it's unrealistic, or that the effort is too much for too little. Best to just rid ourselves of them. They are clouded with negative thoughts and cannot even fathom an alternative, which is exactly why evil triumphs in these situations. If we hope to reinstate the dignity we once held, then we must act. If it's our waiting that brings them success, then let us stop waiting. Start envisioning. Think big, think bold. Demand better, and be better. We must become the architects of the future ourselves. Think less about how can I ace this test, but rather, why must I ace this test? Why does the government praise me so much for being able to follow orders and memorize things? Only then will you realize it's all a part of a plot to control us.